Good morning. We're going to take a fall tour of the homestead, so stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Today we're just going to take a little fall tour of the hobby farm and show you guys some activities I'll be engaged in the next couple of weeks here at the hobby farm. This is one little project I did yesterday. It's a duplicate of what I did over there. This garden I put in out of necessity because I had to build it around an old stump of a tree that was cut down before we had purchased Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. And over here we have the in-ground hose bib that I have put in. This is a code which we required to have some kind of a fire suppression water spigot 50 feet from the house, or 25 feet from the house. I think that's what code regulates. So we went ahead and put a garden around there, which puts both gardens symmetrically with the stairs or the center of the deck to kind of balance out the yard a bit. It also gives me more beds for flowers to feed the bees with. Give you guys a quick update on that trellis I put in about 3 months ago. Look how high those plants have grown. They're clear up to here now. And this is 3 months after planting those morning glories. I was also able to put in 2 more spots for my fruit trees. Because here on the deck, when I started those fruit trees from clippings, this one has starting to root and bloom out. This is a hazelnut tree that a coworker had given me. And in this other jug, I have some fig trees that they're just now starting to bud. But in the bag, I have those trees I started earlier. And here is the black locust. Out of all the sticks I put in the ground, one actually was successful. So I have one successful black locust tree, which will most likely be planted in that garden right there. And then that maple tree I'll plant right there in that garden, so I'll have 2 shade trees growing right off the deck, but the shade trees will be very beneficial. The maple tree I plan to gather some maple syrup from, and then the black locust tree will be a tree that gives a lot of nectar to the pollinators around the area. But going back to those 2 places in the yard that I have created for fruit trees, I have my starts of my that wild cherry plum that I found on the roadside and gathered some cherry plums from. And then I also have some horse and buggy plum right here that is actually growing. So I'll be able to plant those in those spots here in my yard. I did show on a previous video that my fall planting has begun. That whole quarter of my garden is being planted with fall crops. I just picked up some more seed. I'll be planting them today. I have some artichoke and a couple of other things I'll be planting. It's also time to do the fall maintenance on the battery bank and the generator, so I'll be doing that this week. And it's time to tilt the photovoltaic array, because I tilt them 4 times a year at the change of every season. Since fall was, the beginning of fall was the other day, it's time to tilt them and clean the solar panels. I do that every time I tilt them. Let's go on out here and check on the livestock, and I'll give you guys an update on them. Okay, in the apiary, what I'm doing to get ready for the fall is doing some hive inspections this week and getting them ready to go into the winter months. In the winter, I'll be moving the hive into the bee barn here. It's a little tiny shelter that I've built, and it's insulated. It's a double-walled building with styrofoam insulation between the walls. And I also have some access ports I'll be aligning with their entrance so they can still take their cleansing flights throughout the winter, but they're protected from the adverse winter weather inside of the bee barn. As far as the chicken coop goes, I've got 8 chicks with this mother hen out here. She was able to hatch 4 and adopted 4. So she's been raising them out. They're all feathered out now, and I've got 5 I'm actually selling today. We'll be making a transaction later this evening to the new buyer that's going to be purchasing 5 of these chicks. I also had to elevate the whole chicken house about 4 inches high enough, so I've been having problems with water coming down the hillside on the runoff and actually going into the chicken yard run. It's been becoming really mushy and slushy in there and not happy chickens. So I raised it up to give them a dry surface, and I may end up stapling plastic around the outside, leaving a couple open for ventilation, and at least keep them dry, keep their bedding dry for the winter. I did clean out the chicken coop, put all fresh bedding in there, and they are set for the winter. We're ready for the next episode of the Bunny Bungalow of installing the poop collection system, and also the tables and the I'll be building built-in brooders and incubators inside under the table. So that will be the next episode. And then the final episode will be actually constructing the cages and attaching the wall mounts on which the cages will attach. The cages will not hang from the ceiling. They will not be fastened from the floor up. They will be hanging from the back of the wall, and I'll show you my configuration when I get that installed. The quack shack has been all cleaned out, and we're getting it ready for the winter months. I want to lay down some wood chips to kind of absorb some of the moisture that will be running through there. I'm also constructing some nesting boxes for the ducks and geese to get them up off the ground so the eggs have a better chance of incubation rather than sitting on the wet ground and absorbing the moisture, killing the embryos. We'll be actually having a more suitable environment as far as the nesting goes, so I have a better success of hatching naturally next year. These chicks are going for sale. I'll be delivering them to their new owner today, as well as the rooster down there. He goes to a new owner. As far as my rabbits go, this guy was for sale. Somebody had called on him, but I discovered he had ear mites, and I had to treat him for ear mites. You can check that video out a couple of months ago. I did on ear mite formula that I created and the treatment plan. So all of them are free of ear mites now. Yay! And we're ready to get him back on the market and sold. These other 2 guys, they're my breeding bucks. I'm keeping them. Mama Rabbit has successfully raised 6 babies. I don't plan on selling either one of the babies. I want to raise them for my breeding stock. And in the barn, plans for this fall are to finish the stable where I'm going to be bringing goats back over to the homestead. I plan to buy 2 goats for milk, and that will be probably the month after next when I'll be purchasing them. My neighbor to the west of me, she raises goats. She has a huge herd of Nubian goats, and so I'll just be going over there and buying a pair from her. I've purchased from her before. I plan on pouring a cement slab in here to accommodate the easier cleanup. of the goat pen. And it's time to retire the brooder for the winter. I've got these chicks that are just about feathered out, and we'll be introducing them into the chicken run with the rest of the chickens, and I'll be raising them. As the weather turns, we'll be able to not have to keep the pond full with the garden hose. I have to run the garden hose on there approximately 8 hours a day, 1 day per week, to maintain a decent level for the ducks and geese and the fish that are in the pond. Right now, the piggy pen that's going back behind me here is put on the back shelf. I'll be starting that next spring because I need the ground soft enough for me to be able to rent a trencher to be able to trench a line from the well up to the piggy pen to supply water and electricity for a little bit of a heat lamp over the piggies for the winter. Well, that's the little homestead tour for the fall for now. Please stay tuned for more videos as I create them and upload them. I've got many projects pending in the house as we do have plans to completely redo the kitchen. We've got all the cabinets. We just got to buy one more base cabinet and the countertops, the flooring, and then my wife has to decide the color of the walls. I'll also be doing some more drywall mud work on the interior and putting up some more molding throughout the dining room and around the hall area. And then I just have to purchase the material, mainly the two support beams, support pillars and the header beam to install the door off the dining room onto the deck, this free door that my friends gave me. So I want to thank you guys again for showing up. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you guys on another video. Bye bye. Be